An excerpt from William Ellery Channing's Sermon on War, 1816. The miseries and crimes of war, its sources, its remedies, will be the subjects of our present attention. In detailing its miseries and crimes, there is no temptation to recur to unreal or exaggerated horrors. No depth of coloring can approach reality. It is lamentable that we need a delineation of the calamities of war to rouse us to exertion. The mere idea of human beings employing every power and faculty in the work of mutual destruction ought to send a shuddering through the frame. But on this subject, our sensibilities are dreadfully sluggish and dead. Repair, my friends, in thought to a field of recent battle. Here are heaps of slain, weltering in their own blood, their bodies mangled, their limbs shattered, and almost every vestige of the human form and countenance destroyed. Here are multitudes trodden underfoot, and the war horse has left the trace of its hoof in many a crushed and mutilated frame. Consider first the condition of those who are immediately engaged in war. The sufferings of soldiers from battle we have seen, but their sufferings are not limited to the period of conflict. The whole of war is a succession of exposures too severe for human nature. Death employs other weapons than the sword. It is computed that in ordinary wars, greater numbers perish by sickness than in battle, exhausted by long and rapid marches, by unwholesome food, by exposure to storms, by excessive labor under a burning sky through the day, and by interrupted and restless sleep on the damp ground and in the chilling atmosphere of night. Thousands after thousands of the young pine away and die. Consider next the influence of war on the character of those who make it their trade. They let themselves for slaughter, place themselves servile instruments, passive machines in the hands of rulers, to execute the bloodiest mandates, without a thought on the justice of the cause in which they are engaged. What a school is this for the human character! The influence of war on the community at large, on its prosperity, its morals, and its political institutions, though less striking than on the soldiery, is yet baleful. How often is a community impoverished to sustain a war in which it has no interest? Public burdens are aggravated, whilst the means of sustaining them are reduced. Internal improvements are neglected. The revenue of the state is exhausted in military establishments, or flows through secret channels into the coffers of corrupt men, whom war exalts to power and office. The regular employment of peace is disturbed. War diffuses through a community, unfriendly and malignant passions. Nations, exasperated by mutual injuries, burn for each other's humiliation and ruin. They delight to hear that famine, pestilence, wants, defeat, and the most dreadful scourges which Providence sends on a guilty world are desolating a hostile community. The slaughter of thousands of fellow beings, instead of awakening pity, flushes them with delirious joy, illuminates the city, and dissolves the whole country in revelry and riot. Thus, the heart of man is hardened. His worst passions are nourished. But war not only assails the prosperity and morals of a community, its influence on the political condition is threatening. It arms government with a dangerous patronage, multiplies dependents and instruments of oppression, and generates a power which, in the hands of the energetic and aspiring, endangers a free constitution. War organizes a body of men who lose the feelings of the citizen in the soldier, whose habits detach them from the community, whose ruling passion is devotion to a chief, who are accustomed to accomplish their ends by force, and to sport with the rights and happiness of their fellow beings, who delight in tumult, adventure, and peril, and turn with disgust and scorn from the quiet labors of peace. Thus, war is to be ranked among the most dreadful calamities which fall on a guilty world. And what deserves consideration, it tends to multiply and perpetuate itself without end. It feeds and grows on the blood which it sheds. The successful nation, flushed by victory, pants for new laurels, whilst the humbled nation, irritated by defeat, is impatient to redeem its honor and repair its losses. Peace becomes a truce, a feverish repose, a respite to sharpen anew the sword and to prepare for future struggles. Under profession of friendship lurk hatred and distrust, and a spark suffices to renew the mighty conflagration. When from these causes large military establishments are formed and a military spirit kindled, war becomes a necessary part of policy. A foreign field must be found for the energies and passion of a martial people.